Hey, I'm Patrick Anderson, and now we're going to take a look at the song A Mighty Fortress. It was recorded on the album From Age to Age by SovGraceMusic. This song is based on the hymn by Martin Luther, A Mighty Fortress is Our God, and you have this great response in the chorus, Hope in God, O my soul, He is strong and He is strong to save. So let's take a look at this song. It's in 4/4. It's a little bit more up-tempo. Let's start with the intro here. And just to give you a sense, this is what we would do for maybe just an acoustically driven version of the song, stripped down, not full band. You can get a great idea of some arrangement ideas from the album. So that'll be good for you. Okay, so let's take a look at the intro here. We have B minor, D over A, B minor, D over A. I'm looking at that thinking, okay, this is the band arrangement of this, and you should feel totally enabled to just change, the chord arrangement at times, especially if it's a song like this that has a lot of chords and it might be geared towards, a larger group. And in this case, I might want to make that a little bit more interesting for just solo guitar, maybe a little bit more effective for just solo guitar, and do something like G, B minor, G, D. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll talk about how you might approach a song that has a lot of chords in it, how you could maybe thin it out a little bit for just a simpler acoustic version. So let's take the intro. I'm going to give you the strumming pattern first. That is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Just like that. There'll be some points in the song where we change it a little bit, where there's a longer stretch of a chord or maybe shorter ones. But that's the basic core strumming pattern. And again, there are variations you can do on it, but that one will serve you well. So let's take that intro. I'm going to make up an intro of G, B minor, G, D. And just to mention something with the chords, the B minor, that's another bar chord that some guitarists can have a little bit of trouble with. That would look like that. And that would work really well for this. But some other options that I like to play are sort of the bar chord without the bar. Leave that top string open. That's a fourth to that B minor chord, so it could be a B minor 11, something like that. But I have first finger here, just keeping that B bass note down, just like that. Here's the bar, here's without the bar. A shape that I play a lot looks like a D chord like this with this note B in the bass. And so that gives you a B minor 7 shape that's a little easier to grab and still has a really open sound. So that's probably what I'll use here, but you can use any of those. So let's take that intro. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right into the verse, like that. And you can just play that once through. I played it through twice just for demonstration. Your choice. So now moving on to verse 1, we have the chords you'd expect to see in the key of D, the G, B minor, and so forth. And I made some more choices here to get rid of some of the chords to kind of make it flow in a kind of a simpler situation like this, just a solo acoustic guitar or a smaller group. So what I'm going to do here, and you should feel free to do this in your charts, would be I have the G, A Mighty Fortress, and then I'm getting rid of that, I'm changing up the B minor and the D over Fortress Is, and I'm just putting the B minor over Is. A shield, G, keeping that the same, scratching out the B minor over Never, and just playing the D on Fails. So that kind of makes it a little bit more open, kind of flows a little bit more in this context. Same thing on the second line, G over Amid. The flood, I'm scratching out the B minor and putting that instead of the D on Mortal Ills. So amid the flood of mortal ills is G, and then keeping the A the same. Everything after that is the same, just made those choices in the beginning to make it flow a little bit more smoothly in this context. Then you'll want to notice our ancient foe. The E minor and the D share a measure there, so they change a little bit more quickly. And when you have to do that, you're going to have to switch up the strumming pattern a bit. And I just do something really simple like this. Our ancient foe. You're sort of keeping time there, and it moves by so quickly that something like that works really well. One more thing in here, you'll notice the B minor over the third line. Our ancient foe is cruel and armed. That B minor there over armed. There's a little 6/4 there. That means it changes from 4/4 time to 6/4 time. And basically, if that's confusing to you, just know that it's a little bit longer measure. So there's 6 beats there instead of 4 beats there. And I'll try to count that out when we get there. That's one other thing to notice. The last line is the same as the previous line, and all the chords there will keep. So let's play through that verse. Let me do the intro once just to give you an example of how those two parts are connected. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. A mighty fortress. There's that B minor, G, D. Amid the flood of mortal ills, his power will prevail. Here come the short chords. Our ancient foe is armed with, yet with one word, he'll bow to Jesus' name. And we just drive into the chorus like that. So let me play just an example of that third line so you can hear that longer B minor and just get a sense of that. That could be a little confusing. So I'll start on our ancient foe and take it a little slower. Our ancient foe is cruel and armed with hate, yet with one word. One more time, counting it out. Our ancient, start on the right chord. Our ancient foe is cruel and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. And the strumming pattern that I'm using to kind of elongate that measure a little bit is exactly the same as our core pattern. I'll do it on a B minor chord. Down, down, up, down, up. Except I add another part of the end to it. So it goes like this. Down, down, up, down, down. Now it really goes like this. Down, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that'll cover that those 6 beats for you, that last up, down, up. Great. All right, so now let's take the chorus, and I would change the strumming pattern just slightly. It gives it a little bit more of a nice kind of push and up-tempo feel in the chorus here. And I'm going to leave in a lot of the chords here. It didn't work for me to take them out, although you could make your own decisions on that if you felt otherwise. So the chord pattern that I'm going to do for this would be like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's got a little kick on 2, and just really slow once for you. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So that's my chord pattern for the chorus that I'm going to use. Now, a few things about the chorus. The chords that move pretty quickly are hoping God, O, that G and the D over God and O before you get to the Oh My Soul part. So those move quickly. The G over strong on the second line and the D over He is strong to save. That G and the D there move pretty quickly. I'm going to leave out the D over F sharp over hope in God. That's extra. You can let the bass player take care of that if you're doing it. If you want to grab that, you can. And I'll give you an example of that. But I would leave that out to make a simpler version of this. So hoping God on the third line chorus. He's a rock and your hiding place. I'm going to cut out that B minor. Seems a little bit more, just to work a little bit better, if I cut out that B minor and go straight to the G over hiding place. And then we'll go into the little instrumental part after that chorus. He's a mighty fortress, and I'm going to change the chords just like I did for the intro. So I thought instead of G, B minor, D, A, G, B minor, D, that was a lot of chords to play in this context, so I'm just going to do this. G for a full measure, B minor for a full measure. back to G for a full measure, and then a D for a full measure. And I'll probably go back to, I think it'd be best to go back to the feel for the intro, because that sets you up to go back into that same feel for verse 2, which is the same as verse 1. Okay, so let's take the chorus, and I would play through it like this. Let's back up to the last part of verse 1. Bow to Jesus' reign, hope in God. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. G. He's a mighty fortress. This is my intro feel. So that's how I would play the chorus. So let me play that chorus for you one more time. I'm going to add in that D over F sharp on the third line of the chorus as it goes into Hope in God. And it's just an extra thing which you don't need, but if you can handle it, it works well. So let's take this again from the end of verse 1. Bow to Jesus' name, hope in God, oh my soul, He is strong, strong to save. Hope in God, He's a rock in a hiding place. He's a mighty fortress. There's my intro feel. And I might do that twice to go back into verse 2, which would be exactly the same as verse 1. So that is your intro, verse 1, chorus, and that connection to the next verse at the end of the chorus. There's an optional instrumental that's on the chart. I probably wouldn't do this just in this kind of a situation. It's a little bit longer of an instrumental, which I tend to think, why should I have a big instrumental part in a context like this? We just want to get back to the singing. If there were more instruments, we could make that a little bit more musically meaningful. But for this context, just kind of a solo acoustic or a smaller group, I would probably just cut out that instrumental. So for a band context, I really loved a lot of what they did on the album, From Age to Age. With this arrangement, there was some nice openness that was still driving with some of the electric guitars on the verse. And so while that really drove it, it didn't kind of overwhelm it with this big sort of strumming pattern or this big rhythmic feel. So that was really great. So I would probably sit out for a lot of verse 1 in the band context. I might brush over our ancient foe, it's cruel and armed with hate, something like that if I felt like it needed it, but you're generally, it's not going to be bad if you just err on the side of not overplaying. And so sometimes the best thing you can do is to play nothing and wait for that perfect moment to come back in. So there's some great examples of the rhythmic feel with a full band on the recording that would give you some ideas there. But I would do this for my kind of more stripped down acoustic version of it. So this is Mighty Fortress. My name is Patrick Anderson, and I hope this is helpful for you. Thanks.